You are listening to the Geekly Chronicles.
So now joining us on the line, we have Jordon Cox, money-saving expert, Coupon Kid. Hello, Jordan.
Hello, how are you?
I'm not bad, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well.
Good. Thanks for joining us on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on this evening. I mean, money is kind of on everyone's mind at the moment. There's kind of news from everywhere, and I think there's a real danger at the moment of everyone thinking that the only way to save money is to open up a shell company in Panama.
Hide it.
And obviously we want to avoid encouraging people to do that, because I think there's a lot that we can all do to kind of live those better lives. And I think the first time I heard of you was also the first time I'd heard of the term couponing.
Really? That was the first time?
Yeah, I don't know whether I just led a sheltered life or whether I just didn't live anywhere that had any particularly good deals or offers. And I mean, I worked in a supermarket when I first left school, and I never encountered anyone there that was a couponer. But then I might have just been unlucky, because the more I look into it, the more common it seems. How did you get into it?
Well, it was all because of a TV show called Extreme Couponing. And it's a show out in the US. They broadcast it on like TLC in the UK. And they just get thousands of dollars worth of products, and they barely pay anything for it just because they collect all these coupons. And I started watching the show, and I was like, Mum, we could probably do this in the UK if we started looking it up on Google and things like that. And we were struggling for money. We didn't have much money between us, single person, single parent household. And we kind of just started Googling coupons, and we found it was possible. And after 1 week of collecting them, printing them off from online, looking in in-store magazines, we saved about £15, which doesn't sound like much. But if you do that every single week over the year, then that's really a lot of money. I've saved nearly £15,000 now, I think, just by using vouchers, just by budgeting, just by using coupons. And that's only in the past 4 years. So there is so much out there for you to get.
So it was kind of a real aha moment. You kind of watched the show and then suddenly thought, we could do this as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, my parents used to be married and they divorced, and that's kind of the reason for the struggling with money. And once we found that, we realized that we can pay our bills, and then we can treat ourselves to the nicer things in life that we used to have, like holidays, restaurants, just general all-round nice things that people normally do. And without couponing, without using vouchers, we wouldn't have been able to do that. And we actually went on holidays to Italy, to Spain, and we partially paid for a holiday to the US as well, which obviously I looked for discounts for that as well. But all the money that we saved amounted to some great experiences.
That's amazing. I mean, my personal belief in life is that it's not all about the money that you have in the bank, but the experiences that you can go out and live. And it sounds like couponing gives you plenty of both, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So when you first started getting into this, and you watched that show that was in the US, and you started doing Googling, did you find that it wasn't really a thing already in the UK, or did you kind of discover this Aladdin's cave of people already into couponing in the UK?
When I started, it wasn't really that popular, and I don't think people knew much about it back then. Mostly it was just the Tesco Club Card coupons that you get in the post, and people didn't really know where to look for them. And just by doing a Google search now, there are literally 150 coupons you can print out right now, just for things like free Pringles, there's free tea, there's free milk. Yes, there's so many things out there for you to just print out in a single click. And I don't think people actually know about that. Even today, I don't think people know too much about where to look and where to find to get the best bargains. And I actually wrote a blog today where I totaled up so many coupons that you can just get by printing out online. And you can get £45 worth of groceries and only pay $14 for it this week if you print out the right one.
Wow, that's amazing.
That is an incredible offer. One of the things that I think you're probably most known for is, correct me if I'm wrong on the figures here, but I seem to remember you did £600 worth of grocery shopping and paid a total of 4 pence. Is that right?
Absolutely correct, yeah.
How?
Well, that did take a little bit of time, as I'm sure you're probably aware. It didn't just happen overnight. But it took about 3 months for me to collect all of the coupons up for that shop. And mostly what all of that was just contacting manufacturers. If I really liked a product, I got in contact with them and said, look, I really love your product. Can you send me any coupons? And that usually works, as crazy as it seems. And the more effort you put into it, then the more coupons you're able to get. I've sent poems to companies before, and I've got like £20 worth of coupons back in the post.
Wow.
I've sent birthday cards when it's their birthday. If there's ever an advert where like a cereal brand's birthday is, just send them a card, and they send you back like £10, £20 worth of coupons, and it doesn't cost you that much. I've got like a pack of cards that I bought for like 10 for £1 in like a cheap card shop, and I can just send those off whenever I want, and the rewards I get back is just amazing.
That's fantastic. I mean, the last time I spent 15p on groceries, all I got was a really disturbing tin of rice pudding. So I'm glad there's a proper way to do it as well.
Absolutely.
What makes rice pudding disturbing?
If you'd opened that can, you would know. Believe me.
Okay,
The fact
I
that
don't
you
think I
could
want
just
to know.
kind of tip up the can and it would come out the shape of the can. Anyway.
Okay.
Oh no.
Moving on.
So I suppose when you do stuff like that, are you targeting products that you already love and that you already kind of know you will use, or is it just kind of you'll take anything? And do you ever end up making waste?
I try not to, no. I mean, the whole point of couponing is to try and find coupons for the things that you're actually going to use. Because if you've got a coupon for something and you're just going to spend it willy-nilly just because you've got a discount on it, then you're really not saving money. And that's a big part of food wastage as well. If people just buy things for the sake of it, then you're wasting food there. And that's something I really try to avoid. But what I do is I try to kind of tailor what I'm eating and my meals around what those coupons for. So if I like lots of different food, and if I find a coupon for something that I'll eat, then I will most likely eat that for the week if it's a good offer. And I just try and kind of tailor my meals around that, and it actually really works, and it saves us a lot of money. So.
Oh, that's I mean, that's really interesting because there's lots of different food I like, but I think to myself, I don't want to eat things 2 days in a row. But actually, looking at offers for things that I really like and then planning my meals around that rather than planning my spend around my meals. It's not a concept that I thought of doing before, but that actually sounds really clever.
Yeah, it totally works as well. If there's a coupon for £1 off pizza and you're partial to a pizza, then you can stock up on those, shove them in the freezer, then you've got like 2 weeks worth if you wanted them.
I'm not sure I've ever met anyone that wasn't partial to pizza.
Exactly.
Although we were just hearing earlier that there was a deep pan pizza day recently, so I could have stockpiled. And
there was. Yeah, there was a coupon for £1 off deep pan pizza, and they were priced at £1, which made it completely free.
That's incredible.
I absolutely loved it.
That's amazing. I would have run to the shop if I'd realised that. Yeah, that's incredible. Well, I was reading through your blog, and I noticed, as well as the things you were saying about sending cards and
yes.
Things, you've also suggested things like writing poems and stuff for products you really like. So I'm just really curious. What's the most kind of creative or wacky thing that you personally have done to get a coupon from a company or a product?
I've done some pretty weird things, to be fair. I've taken numerous selfies of me with different products saying, look, I've got your product and look how much I like it. I've also, like I say, I've written a load of poems. And I think one time I wrote a 20-line poem to a drinks company, and it was pretty much every single one of their drinks that they have incorporated into a poem about how much I like it all.
That's
fantastic. And it did take me quite a while. It took me about half hour to think it up. But they absolutely loved it, and things like that they can post on their social media and things. So that's the reason why you're getting so much back, because pretty much for them it's free advertising for their company.
I actually had that once. I was a really big fan of a particular burrito place in town, and I would always tweet at them to say that I was there or what I was having and that kind of thing. And I actually got invited to a free tasting session for their new burrito flavors, and that was quite nice.
I should try that.
But I wonder if this is the birth of something new. It's almost extreme couponing. Like how far can you go? Like, can you take a selfie with your favorite pizza on the top of Mount Everest? I mean, how much would that get? Like turning extreme couponing into an even more extreme sport.
Into an extreme sport, yeah.
Well, you'd have to get
that's
the
a decent
trip
concept.
to Nepal for free first, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
To be able to
Yeah,
get
that'd be
on.
brilliant. Like, if you pay for me to go to Nepal, I will take selfies of your product all along the way. That could work really well.
It's a long shot, but the worst I can do is say no. So
True.
That's true. I mean, I love taking pictures in places. So actually, this is something I might try and do a bit more of because I take pictures of all of my food. I take pictures of all of the places I go to. I'm just such a picture-y person. And as much as I dislike songs about selfies, I have actually been prone to take quite a few of them. So I should really start getting into taking selfies with things. That's quite a cool idea.
Yes.
absolutely.
Let's talk about, speaking of travel, your journey from Essex to Sheffield via Berlin.
That's right. Yeah.
Could you tell us a bit more? I mean, why Berlin? How did you come up with the idea of
It doesn't
flying?
seem en route, does it?
No, not really. How did you come up
not
with that?
quite. So basically, I was teaching a class on couponing up in Sheffield, as it happens, and I needed to get back down the country, back to Essex, to where I live. And the cheapest one-way train back down the country was £47, and I found a cheap one-way train up there to go and teach. But the cheapest back down was £47. So I looked for alternative options, and it just so happened that a flight from East Midlands Airport to Berlin was only like £11, and then a flight from Berlin to Stansted Airport, which is like 15 miles away from where I live, was £9. And when I added in everything as well, like a train from Sheffield to Derby, a bus to the airport, trains into the city centre at Berlin, even lunch, and then a bus back home, all of that still came out to £8 cheaper than it would have been the train.
Wow.
So, yeah, I just decided to go for it, Spontaneous things in life are always the best. So why not go to Berlin? Why not see a different part of the world for cheaper than it would have cost you? Because I needed to get back home anyway, so it was just a slight detour, and I got to see and do a lot while I was there.
Did you have much of a layover then when you were in Berlin?
I was there for 4 hours in the city centre, but I was in Berlin for about 7 in total. The rest was spent in like the airports waiting for flight. But I saw quite a lot. I got to see the Brandenburg Gate. I got a tour in like a government building. I went to like Checkpoint Charlie, and I went around all the sites, and I had lunch as well, which was fantastic. And all of that was cheaper. So I don't see why anyone would have taken the train if it was cheaper to go to Berlin.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, I just think, and you've got a really great story out of it as well. I mean, there's nothing to talk about if you just go home on the train, whereas you've got this whole fantastic story that you can write about and tell people about and dine out on for ages.
Well, like we were saying, it's all about the experiences in life, right? And that is an experience that you'll be telling people about for a long time.
Speaking of dining out as well, Kez was telling me earlier about the word wombling and associated with the McDonald's Monopoly promotion.
Oh, that is my favourite thing ever.
Yeah, I want to know more about that.
So basically, the McDonald's Monopoly promotion is going on at the moment until the 26th of April. And on every single drinks can, on every single fries packet, there's stickers. And on those stickers, you can collect either like parts of the Monopoly board to win a bigger prize, or on some of them, there's actually free food prizes. And there are over 40 million free food prizes out there. So if you just peel off these stickers, if people have just left them behind, 1 out of 4 is a winning free food sticker. And I've actually collected over £20 worth just by picking up people's rubbish, picking up people's drinks cans outside of, on Oxford Street. I'm always wombling up and down there, just picking them up, looking at the stickers and actually seeing if they win. And quite often they actually do. So yeah, I've picked up free apple pies, free sundaes, free breakfast items, free drinks, free fries. I've picked up so much, and it's just from picking up other people's rubbish, which is quite fun.
I wonder where the nearest McDonald's to Wimbledon Common is.
Yeah,
proper wombling.
But that's the thing, because I remember watching the Wombles, and I think it's that kind of concept. I think it's something that we've fallen out of, especially here in the UK. I think that people, typically were a bit more frugal and typically did sort their rubbish before it got thrown away to make sure there wasn't any waste. And I think we've become a lot more wasteful. But then for someone like yourself who is happy to be a womble and go wombling, that must be incredibly fruitful.
Yeah, and there's actually another way that you can save money through wobbling as well with Asda's receipts. At the bottom of every single Asda receipt, there's like a brand guarantee, and it says if it's not 10% cheaper than the next supermarket, then it will give you the difference back. So if Tesco is like £5 cheaper than Asda, then it will give you £5 back plus 10%. So it'll give you £5.50. And so many people leave their Asda receipts without actually checking it, because you have to enter the details online. And you can pick up those receipts and check it yourself. And people have earned hundreds of pounds just by picking up these receipts and entering them online. And then you get a coupon that you just print out and take the next time you shop.
That's amazing.
That is fantastic. I noticed as well you can do the same thing with Ikea at the moment.
Yes.
You don't visit Ikea as often necessarily, but I am a huge Ikea fan. And there's a code on the bottom, and if you type it in online, you can win stuff. Like I won a bedspread last time I went to Ikea from the bottom of my receipt. But people just leave these receipts around, so you can win all kinds of free things.
I mean, I need to go to Ikea soon, so could I just put every single thing I buy through in a separate transaction and get loads of them?
That's actually what I
Maybe.
did. I went in there and I bought like 10 different flannels that were 25p each. And I've won like 6 donuts, 2 hot dogs, a £5 food voucher.
Wow.
And like a picture frame, I think. So
That's
it
incredible.
made up for it in price.
And all of those things are things that you'd use or consume.
Yeah, so I suppose,
Yeah, exactly.
so I suppose
Pretty
what you want to
fair
do is make sure you've got a laptop or your phone with you when you go, so that before
check
you've
the
driven
prizes.
away, you can check all your prizes and then go back in and get your swag before you, so you don't have to go back again and waste your fuel money.
That is true.
She's got it now. She's properly in the frugal.
I've always been a little bit addicted to trying to get a good deal. I have
That is true.
I have an envelope that I carry around in my handbag, which I call my voucher pouch.
Oh,
So,
yes.
so that they're always with me, so that I don't get to the supermarket and think, oh, I had a voucher for this, and now I've left it at home.
That's a great idea. So, I mean, we have quite an expensive hobby here.
Oh,
I think it's fair to
the
say.
radio show.
The radio show,
Yeah.
does cost us a fair amount from time to time. So we were just wondering if you had any advice for anything we could do to cut our costs. Any tips you can share generally as
Or,
well?
I mean, anyone that has an expensive hobby. I think a
Yeah,
lot of hobbies, certainly a lot of sports-based hobbies are
absolutely.
quite expensive to be a part of.
Yeah.
But they're very cost prohibitive. Is there stuff that people can do or things that people should look out for?
I would definitely say if you don't have a budget, make sure you're budgeting for absolutely everything. If it's expensive things like sports or radio shows, then you're going to have expensive items such as like equipment, like I'm sure microphones aren't very cheap. So just making sure that you're not overspending for the things that you can, that would be great. And if you can find a cheaper microphone by going online and searching on eBay, then try your best to do that.
I did actually eBay for some of the stuff for this studio, but it still looks quite shiny, so that's fine.
It does. This is very true. Also, at present I'm a student, and students never have any money. It's the age-old trope. But I wondered if there's anything that I can do that are different to my less studenty co-hosts that I can do to save money.
Absolutely. Have you got an NUS card?
I do.
Fantastic. That's a great start. Have you got a 16 to 25 rail card?
I do as well.
You are flying.
I'm
you are
ticking
doing
the boxes
absolutely
already.
Well, I suppose with a rail card, you could actually be flying, given the story that we had earlier.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, very true. What about an ISIC card? Have you got an ISIC card?
I don't.
What's one of them?
What's
there
one
we
of
go.
those?
Got you. That's an International Student Union card. So if you get one of those, you can pretty much get discounts all over the world. So if you're traveling like me, then it'll be fantastic to use.
If I find myself coming home via a different country, then
Yeah, you can get
It'll
student
come in handy.
discounts abroad as well.
fantastic.
Well, that is quite a good tip, that. And also, I guess, combining all of those other tips together when you're a student around food and everything is quite
Yeah.
useful.
Yeah, I
I'm a
suppose.
fan of the Match and More card.
Yeah, so I suppose we've already covered loads of tips, but I suppose, is there anything else that we can all benefit from? We've very much directed you with questions, but is there anything else that you've recently uncovered that would really benefit us all?
One thing that I do quite like at the moment is apps on your phone that save you money. And there's actually quite a few which are coupon related, where you can claim cash back on things in the supermarket. There are so many offers on these apps. They're called Checkout Smart and Shopitize. And on quite a few of them, there's free stuff that you can claim.
Catherine is literally writing this down.
Oh, Checkout Smart and Shopitize. Look them up.
So how do they work?
On these apps, there are so many free stuff on there. You just go into the supermarket and buy what it tells you. Then you come back, you take a photo of the receipt, and then you claim the money back into your account. And then once you've got a certain amount, you can claim that back as backs or as PayPal transfer.
Ooh.
And there is so much on there you can claim. There is like weekly freebies rotating every single week for you to claim. At the moment, there's like free beer, free bacon, free porridge. So definitely check those out.
Free bacon.
beer, bacon, and porridge, things you could combine into one hearty meal.
Everything you need.
That's incredible. Really just fantastic. I mean, the stuff that I've seen just through looking at your blog or going shopping with Catherine and her voucher pouch, it's amazing. I mean, quite often I'll be in Sainsbury's or Tesco or something, and Catherine will be there with me, and I'll get told off by Catherine, and there'll be some voucher rummaging, which is great.
No, don't buy that. Buy this one.
But I mean, you've been in the news, obviously, for some of your greater money-saving feats, and I've been reading your blog a lot about the money-saving tips. But I'm curious, as you know, you're kind of so well known for the couponing. What is life for you outside of couponing? What other things do you love? And have you found that a lot of the skills that you've picked up through the couponing actually have helped with other things in life as well?
Well, I'm quite a big fan of travelling, as you might tell. But I've found lots of different discounts for travelling, so that's quite good. And also aside from that, I actually do quite a bit of performing. I perform in like a local operatic society, so I do like musical theatre. I'm very big into plays. And that actually doesn't cost me much, actually. It costs me like a membership fee, one off every year, and then I get to perform in 3 different shows. So very cost effective.
Well, and I suppose the more you do that, the more people may see that and potentially even pay you for it one day.
Yeah, exactly.
The travelling thing makes me think, I do quite a bit of travelling for work, and sometimes I have to stay over in hotels, and depending where you're staying, that can be quite expensive. Are there any tips for getting cheaper hotel deals and things like that?
We're just milking you for advice at this point.
I've gone completely off script here. I'm now just asking you for help.
So definitely search for voucher codes if you don't already. There's also websites called Top Cashback and Quidco where you can claim cashback on hotel stays. So usually if you book through Expedia, you can get 12.6% cashback if you book through that website on any hotel stay. And have you also heard of the website called Couchsurfing?
I think I've heard of it, but never checked it out.
Definitely have a look at it. Basically, you can stay for free at someone else's house, and you just request like a stay, and they let you stay. It's very simple. All you have to do is just sign up to the website, and then it's a great way to meet new people.
Oh, and that's really interesting, because I was looking up somewhere to stay in London, and the nearest travel lodge was like £105 a night. But for £75 a night, I could have stayed at an Airbnb place that was with that was at like a penthouse apartment at the top of a building in Soho with like 3 other people, and it was just such a fantastic deal. I'm never not using Airbnb now for that, because it's just crazy. If I want to stay in London, hotel prices are so huge compared to places like Airbnb. So, I mean, before we wrap up, I mean, we've talked about some of your bigger, more well-known feats: the 4p shopping trip, the flight home via Berlin. What's next? I mean, do you plan these things a lot in advance? Is there something coming that's going to top those stories and make them seem insignificant? Are we going to get free chopper ride to the top of Everest?
I would love that. There are lots of things coming. I can't really tell you too much, but there will be a lot of ways that you can save even more money on travel. And I've even got a tip coming soon which can get you some free travel to somewhere abroad. So look out for that.
Ooh.
I will be following your Twitter feed like a hawk to get that one. We'll all meet up in Mumbai or wherever this is, and we'll have to do a outside broadcast of the radio show from wherever we end up.
Fantastic.
Well, Jordan, thank you so much for coming on to the show and joining us tonight. It's been really great to hear all of your top tips. I think Catherine is busy writing notes on all of them now.
It's been lucrative.
It's the Geekly Chronicles.